Hello, and welcome to the Enactus United States Early Stage Judge Orientation. Thank you for taking the time to support Enactus teams and judge this exciting track of competition for early stage projects. Today, you will be judging the Enactus teams who have been selected as the Final Four in the early stage competition. During the virtual opening rounds last month, teams were asked to submit a presentation video up to 7 minutes in length to present their projects in the early stages of the project development lifecycle to you. Some also prepared written reports in the form of Project One-pagers or annual reports. This was optional for this track of competition, although we did encourage teams to provide these reports as they help to supplement the information in their presentation. Each of the 21 competing teams was evaluated based on their submitted materials in a virtual opening round. Then, the top 12 were evaluated in a semi-final round. Today, you will hear from the final 4 competing teams. For each team, you should take time to read through their written report, if they have provided one, and watch their presentation. In this track of competition, after reviewing each team's presentation materials in your league, you will meet with them for a question and answer period. Following the Q&A, judges will use the provided evaluation sheets to submit their scores for each team in their league. During this video, we will walk you through each component of the competition structure. The single question you will apply to each team's presentation to assess and score them is, does the Enactus team effectively demonstrate a project that incorporates entrepreneurial leadership to drive business and innovation for sustainable positive impact to benefit people, planet, and prosperity? The criterion for the early stage competition is slightly different from that of the World Cup qualifier competition in that we are not seeking teams to demonstrate outcomes. The projects entered into this track of competition are in the first few stages of the project development lifecycle. The teams are asked to demonstrate how they have used the Enactus judging criterion to lay the foundation for a strong, sustainable Enactus project that will create long-term sustainable impact for people, planet, and prosperity. However, the projects will not yet have those results. When we refer to stages of the project development lifecycle for early stage, we are looking for projects that are in the needs assessment, design, authorization, or planning and implementation stages. The stages on the left correspond with early stage projects. They are likely to have produced some project inputs and activities and may even have some short-term outputs. But these projects should not have long-term outcomes associated with the later stages of the project lifecycle on the right. For example, the presentations you will watch may discuss how a team is prototyping an idea, has started working with partners or project beneficiaries, and has some early outputs. Maybe they have held a workshop for 100 beneficiaries. However, these projects will not yet have long-term sustainable outcomes, such as job creation or placement, businesses fully established, or products fully developed. We ask that as you watch the presentations and speak with teams, you consider, does the project incorporate entrepreneurial leadership as method to solve a problem by using business concepts? Does the team demonstrate they are using a thorough needs assessment and thoughtful project planning to lay the foundation for sustainable, positive impact to benefit people, planet, and prosperity? To help you better understand the judging criterion and what is meant by each term, we have created a scoring rubric that breaks down the definition of each component of the criterion. The scoring rubric uses a weighted numeric scoring system designed to place the most emphasis on the components of the criterion that contribute most to strong, sustainable projects. The rubric is broken into sections, each representing a component of the criterion or aspect of project management that is crucial to implementing the criterion effectively. You can see the first three sections here: defining the need, entrepreneurial leadership, business and innovation, and positive impact. Under each section, located in your judge's guide, we have provided some detailed information on how we define these terms and concepts. It is crucial that a team conduct a needs assessment, getting to the root cause of the problem they are striving to solve, not just the issue on the surface, in order to create a sustainable solution. The teams should be using an entrepreneurial approach to solve the problem they have identified. This means they are not simply providing short-term aid, but rather are developing a business model that will produce sustainable revenue and possibly jobs as a way to completely solve the problem. And teams should be planning for long-term, measurable outcomes that benefit people, planet, and prosperity. Outcomes are the long-term changes in conditions and behavior as a result of the outputs. Early-stage projects won't yet have outcomes, but how they prepare and plan the project now by conducting a thorough needs assessment and using entrepreneurial solutions will determine whether they get past outputs and generate true outcomes in the future. Most importantly, the Enactus judging criterion is designed in a way to encourage sustainable impact. The sustainability section of the scoring rubric will prompt you to consider whether the project is being set up to last. Is the team planning for how the project will exist long into the future? Have they considered what will happen when they are no longer supporting the project? Do they have a partner to which they can transition ownership of the project? Is it being established as a business enterprise that can eventually operate without them? Is the model scalable so it can move beyond the beneficiary group to solve similar problems in other communities? Finally, we ask you to evaluate how well the team presented their ideas. In the World Cup qualifier Enactus competition, teams are not evaluated on the quality of their presentation, but solely on the quality of the content. In the early stage competition, however, we felt it was important to indicate how well the team communicated and presented their ideas. This section of the rubric is designed to provide a growth opportunity, but is the lowest weighted category, so it does not have a major impact on the team's overall score. While judging, you may encounter teams who refer to the Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs. The 17 Global Goals for Sustainable Development were created by the United Nations and serve as a framework for the sustainable changes that has been adopted by companies, NGOs, educators, and governments around the world. While the criterion does not require teams to address the goals, at Enactus, we encourage our students to develop entrepreneurial solutions for the goals and use them as a universal language for the challenges they are addressing in their communities and globally. For more information about the Sustainable Development Goals, you can visit the link in this slide or the United Nations website. We've presented a lot of detailed information, so here are a few main points and key takeaways regarding the judging criterion and team presentations. Projects presented in this track of competition will be in the early stages of the project lifecycle: needs assessment, project design, authorization, and planning and implementation. They may have some early, short-term outputs, but they are not expected to have outcomes. Teams should be demonstrating how they are using thorough needs assessments to understand the root of the problem and be able to apply an entrepreneurial approach to solve the problem, laying the foundation to create long-term sustainable impact for people, planet, and prosperity. It is not uncommon for teams to collaborate with other organizations on projects. Teams should clearly state who they are working with, define their role versus the role of the partner, and report the degree of impact for which they can legitimately take credit. Teams are encouraged to address needs within their home country or to collaborate with other Enactus teams where possible if they choose to work internationally. Your focus should be on the potential for sustainable positive impact of the project, regardless of the location. Please remember to look beyond presentation quality and focus your evaluation on the content and information teams are presenting and their ability to communicate such content. Thank you again for supporting Enactus students and donating your time to be an early stage judge. If you have any questions, please locate an Enactus staff member. Happy judging!